What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chillin' with Rick, the People Show. Without the people, I'd be nothing. Whether you've been with me from the beginning or you just joined, thank you guys for watching. From the bottom of my heart, I love and appreciate you guys. Today I have with me one of my favorite guests of all time. He's an actor, musician. He gave up twerking. That's a good thing. He's just like, and come to find out, Dracula does drive. Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne W. Johnson.
Always a twerking, man. Always a twerking.
How are you,
How you
Wayne?
doing?
Come
Good.
here, give me a hug, man. That's a nice wig you got. Look at that wig.
It does look like a wig, doesn't it?
He
It's,
thought he was going to get away with a
at
normal...
at some point, I probably will have to wear wigs for real, but my hair is still recovering from COVID pneumonia.
Yes.
So,
He thought he was going to get a normal intro. He knows better than that out of me.
yeah, I should know by now. There's
So-
a lot of things I should know by now.
Fun fact,
like driving.
Dracula drives.
You notice he didn't say well. You know, so
So fun fact, I'm sure you already know this. There's the Nectar of Gods, by the
the
way.
nectar of the gods. I was actually going to say that. That's great. Wow. Okay. There we go.
Fun fact, we started our journey together 4 years ago yesterday. And it was just as hot on that day, remember that?
Yeah,
We
except
did
I was
it-
sitting over there and I
Yeah.
was talking like this, man. You know, I kind of had everything going, and we had a jukebox going on in the background, so YouTube kept striking the video down. No,
He did talk funny. I was like, oh my God, does this guy really talk like this?
you never know, man. I've never been high in my life, but so, and maybe that's why.
Me and
I'll start
Wayne have
talking
never
like that.
even, I mean, he's had alcohol, but I've never even had alcohol, so.
Very little.
Yeah.
I've indulged it a few times. I've been drunk maybe less than 5 times.
There you go.
You know.
Show everybody the shirt you're wearing, man. The
look at
retro
this.
chillin'
Look at
shirt.
this.
That's worth 50 grand on eBay right now, guys.
Yeah. With the Rick, and it
Yeah.
says survived.
Yeah.
They survived.
Oh, he survived a few.
Yeah, so that's why I had
I've
to wear it.
survived a few.
Yeah. You know, some of these interviews, man, these interview shows that I do and stuff like that, some of them can be pretty rough, you know. Some of them, they're friendly with you online, and then, well, once everything's off, you know, so,
Yeah,
hey,
that happens.
that happens.
Whoever did that to you, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm sorry that happened.
I already knew.
I don't.
And I've known about there's a bunch of them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody.
Yep.
You know, and it's part of the nature of the business, you know.
Yes.
No matter what you do, there's always going to be people who are, you know, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, you're.
do we need microphones?
They're right there. You're good. You ain't got to touch it.
Oh, I don't have to,
Nope.
because if you watch the last interview, everything was nice and crystal clear and stuff until I got up and then the mic fell off me. So, and it was right when I was saying, you know, when Rick was saying, hey, you know, do a little promotion, like where can we find you online? And all of a sudden the thing drops and you can barely hear me, and it's like, wow, was that
Wayne,
planned?
this is a $300 upgrade.
Yeah, it's Rode.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what's up, brother.
I have one of their mics.
Yes.
It's great. Oh,
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I forgot.
Very unprofessional.
I
Wayne.
know. Look at me, man. What the hell is going on here? I will say though, you know what's interesting? I don't know what's kind of going on in terms of like Facebook. It's a good thing though. But for me, what's been happening the last week, and believe me, I'm not complaining about this at all. Just a little backstory. For whatever reason, you know, you have your friend counts, and that's all nice and stuff like that. But mine was just decreasing, like just slowly but steadily dropping. So like within 6 months, I'd lost like 200 or 300 people,
Wow.
and I'm just I was like, wow, what the hell happened? Did
Who are you offending, Wayne?
well, unless you're next to me personally, it's not my body odor, you know. So you know, I need that Axe endorsement bad. But within the last week, something happened, and maybe it's because of a combination of Johnny Z, it's a movie that I'm in, being released, Tales of Dracula 2, Dracula Meets the Wolfman, that was just released via streaming. Both of them are by streaming right now. But
Where can I find that?
Um,
'Cause I'd like to
both
watch
of them.
that.
Well, both of them. Johnny Z, I believe, right now is on Amazon Prime,
Okay.
and a few other formats as well. I think it's also on Apple. I what I don't have Apple, so I don't
Yeah.
use that. But there's a couple different formats that's on streaming wise. Uh, Tales of Dracula 2. There's actually a link. You have to go to the Tales of Dracula Facebook page, and there's a link to it's it's powered by Vimeo, so there's that. But it's a little different. But you can rent or buy it there. Uh, and so there's that. And then on top of that, just recently, I'm slated to do the voice of a lead character named Kenneth Manning in a video game.
Very
It's
cool.
it's from the UK. It's a slasher horror video game called The Devil's Apostles, and they currently have an Indiegogo campaign going on right now. They're trying to raise a lot of money for expenses and stuff. They've gone through a good chunk of it already, so you can see a lot of pictures and stuff. One thing I'm going to mention right now, little promo here. Geez, you ain't doing promo. God.
That's why you're here.
Is one of the perks. There's a lot of perks with the Indiegogo campaign that they have. Remember, it's the Devil's Apostles, Apotles. Okay. One of the perks, which I even bought for myself, was you can be a head in a jar in the video game because it's about a killer. So there's already motion capture of the animated character who's got a chainsaw and he's and stuff in there. So
Yeah.
some cool stuff already done with the video game. So my head's in a jar. So anybody who I'm sure there's a bunch of people going, yeah,
It's about damn time.
about damn time somebody told them to shut up. That way. So, so there's that. But I don't know. But it's just I've been flooded with friend requests. I actually went from in 1 week I went from 4,700 and maybe 40 somewhere around there.
Wow.
I'm currently at 4,920 something,
You
and
can
I haven't
only
even gone
accept-
through everyone that's requested me.
You can only accept 80 more, and then you're at the limit.
Yeah, and then I'm at the limit.
Make
and then
sure
I'm
they're
at-
hot chicks.
then- well, there's one in particular who I've been talking with.
Oh no.
And
Oh no.
I'll just leave it at that
Yeah,
for
leave
right
it
now,
at that.
because I don't want to jinx it.
Yep.
But
Congrats, Wayne.
there's actually a lot of hot people that are coming in, and not so hot people, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm in the
I
not
don't
so hot.
consider myself. That. Well, hey, it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
You got that right.
Except when it comes to me, it kind of I don't know. I guess it depends on how much alcohol you've had in you. But
You're trying to say the chicks need to be drunk to get to you, Wayne? Is that what you're trying to say?
in the past, it definitely helped.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't do anything without consent or anything like
Yes.
that. But
Then the aerobic activity starts.
yes, and sometimes the machine broke.
Oh no! Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, so.
There's a cure for that.
Yeah, man. It's one of my taglines. I say the elevator to Hotel Wayne is sometimes out of order.
You're at that age, my brother.
Well, it's not just that. Sometimes it's that goes with the other tagline. It says the back door exit to Hotel Wayne only goes in one direction, out. And, so no offense to anybody who partakes in that, because hey, do what you do.
Might have to
I
edit
have
that
enough
out.
trouble with women. So.
All right.
Anyway.
Anyway, I haven't seen you in a year. What's been going on with you, brother?
Well, this has been an interesting year. One of the reasons it's okay to say this. I know you have your show every year,
Yes.
and sometimes I'm not able to do it because I'm busy. Me, I'm busy. Yeah, right.
I'd rather not have you here in July. I
But-
mean, you'd be a puddle.
Yeah, I would be. Look at this. I have
Today
this
is
here.
October 3rd, guys.
It's October 3rd,
Yeah.
and it just heated up. It's in the mid 80s right now,
Yes.
and of course it had to be. But last week it was in the 70s,
Yeah.
or even lower.
Yeah.
Of course. But sometimes it's I'll not to brag, although I'm about to. It's I've done a lot of interviews, and it's interesting because you don't realize this until you're put into the position. It's there's people that complain, oh man, you get the same questions all the time and stuff like that. And it's well, because not everybody knows what other people are doing and stuff, what other people are asking, what other people are saying and stuff. But I always want it to be a little interesting. I want it to be a little different so that people who are watching, it's usually just me, myself, and I, every interview that I do, Um, there's always a little bit of variety, so it's not just, oh, I've heard all that before. I always like to have something there to mix it up. So it's always wonderful when someone comes across and says, hey, I've got this to ask you, and you do that a lot.
Yeah.
You'll be asking me stuff. But if it's every year, sometimes I don't have anything new to say, and it's kind of like, well, you could just sit here and just be like, yeah, I'm poisoning myself with this. I love it though. I currently,
Drink your
I go in
fructose.
between and out between being addicted to soda or not. So.
I used to be like that. 6 cans
I
a
drink
day.
I drink a ton of this stuff a day, and
Yeah.
probably not good for me. So.
No, it's not.
But hey,
Dr. Chillin said it ain't good for you.
Dr. Chillin.
I'm partnering with Dr. Feelgood.
Maybe you guys can figure out what's wrong with my elevator.
We'd rather not go down there.
No, I don't want to go down there either. Nobody wants to go down there.
There's some girl that wants to find out. We'll leave it up to her.
There's some guys too.
Oh, God. Jeez.
I actually had a guy. Here's something brand new that's never been revealed before. It probably could
full
have.
disclosure,
It probably
I'm
could
out
have
of
been
this.
saved for the book, but
Wayne the
I'll
book?
say, yeah, Wayne the book. I'm only half joking about that now, but because I might do that. I might actually really do that. There was a band I was in, and there was an after party, and I had carpooled with somebody, this guy, and we were going to this place, and we were going there, and the guy, and I'm assuming this is still PG-13, right?
Yeah.
Or it's so no swearing.
I mean, you can drop it here and there.
Okay. So basically, the guy kept nagging me. It's like, man, he wanted to blow me.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. And I'm like, no, and we're getting, and he goes, come on, man, it's like, once a mouth's around there, it's the same thing. It's like, no, it's not. And no, I didn't do that. And that's another reason I don't get drunk. Because then I'll be like Ace Frehley. No, I didn't say that.
Oh, man.
But that's public record.
Full disclosure, I'm out of this conversation. It's all him.
Ace is awesome and stuff like that, but everyone knows he partakes in a lot of drink at times in his past, and when you do that, your thinking's a little scrambled, and
We got to get you on track.
okay. But there's that story right there. Okay, that's why initially I was going to save it for the book, but it's there.
We got to get you back on track.
Okay, I'm on track. So what's new? Well, like I kind of said in the beginning, there's 2 movies that have finally been released, and actually both of them started filming around 2018.
Okay.
Johnny Z, which is the same director who did Night of Something Strange, is also doing Johnny Z. Although it's another zombie movie, but it's futuristic. It doesn't have the toilet humor. There is some humor in it. It's more story driven. There's a lot of martial arts going on. So I was in I was in this one fight scene where I got my ass handed to me. But we had to make it look like I'm fighting a guy who's a martial art master. It's Felix Cortez, and he's a master of the Filipino martial arts, like scrimmage, stick fighting, and other things. And I'm just like, I have to look like I can go toe to toe with this guy, and even at times appear like I'm winning. And what helped with that is I was at my heaviest at that time. I, for various reasons, shot up to like 275 pounds.
Wow,
I was
that's
a big
lot
boy.
of weight.
There's a lot of beef in that,
And he's smashing through walls. or
Yeah,
trying to.
yeah, you saw that. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, I smashed. Well, okay, that one. Okay, the one where it showed me in slow motion.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like,
Because there's a promo thing that we just recently did. Their promo company wanted some quick 1-minute clips, talking like they ask a question and you talk about your experience, but it had to be under a minute. And then they threw in some clips from the movie, and one of them had like me throwing Felix through a wall. So, and it was fun to see how that was all set up and done and everything.
Yeah.
And,
I like to see the behind the scenes stuff.
oh yeah, now that movie's out, I've
Yeah.
got stuff from both that and Tales of Dracula 2 that I've got to shoot,
Yes.
put up online at some point as time permits.
Yeah.
So there's that movie, and I just have a smaller supporting role. I play a role. The character's name is Monster Boy. It's funny, I'm the bodyguard for Trey Harrison's character. I can't remember the name of the character at the moment, but Trey was actually the lead male in Night of Something Strange, and I was the lead villain or lead zombie in Night of Something Strange. So it's kind of weird how we were both kind of
Yeah.
in support with this one. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone did a great job with that, and that was just a hard shoot. And unfortunately, that's also when I started seeing signs that not everything was right at Hotel Wayne in terms of my overall structure and stuff. That's kind of when the first signs I started with my autoimmune disease. That's when it started appearing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing altogether. So there was that, and that finally got released, which is great because now that that's out of the way, and now we go into Tales of Dracula 2, which also started filming around, I believe, 2018. And then we finished, I think, in 2019, and then we had to redo shoots.
And Wayne looked.
In 2020,
And Wayne looked different.
Well, the thing is, no, then we had to do it again.
Oh.
The last fight scene, and that's when I looked different.
Yeah.
That's probably why they use that picture, which they seem to love. I'm like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this, where my hair is like all totally fucked up.
Yeah.
And because I summoned a storm or something. They love it. But it's their production, so
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I walked on set the first day of doing the reshoot of the final fight scene, and the makeup master that was there, Ron Chamberlain, the first thing he said was, "What happened to your hair?" And I'm like, I tried to tell everybody from production, like, because I had gone through, when I had COVID pneumonia, I went through what they call COVID hair. I started to rapidly lose my hair, especially in this area.
Yeah.
It was getting so bad that you could actually see the scalp.
Yeah.
It wasn't as like a skullet, but it was heading its way there.
Yeah.
And it lasted about 3 or 4 months. But at the time, my mother had passed away from COVID pneumonia earlier on that year. I almost died from COVID pneumonia that year. Last year was an extremely stressful year. I mean, there's that. My ex-wife died in the middle of the year.
Wow.
Caroline Blue. That lineup came and went with all the good and bad that happened with that lineup. And we got a show out of it.
I was at that show, me and DR.
Yes.
We all
Sure.
hung out on that side patio.
Yes.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah, that was good.
Me, you, and DR.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Yeah, I actually came up with a good line for your favorite song, too. I'd never said that in any other show before. I'd never said that. I did, for those, it's online if you want to see it. I'll let you see it. It's on there. It's just a little thing on there, but it was something that I try to also change things, but I also have a lot of taglines for
Yep.
songs, too.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to DR. Me and Wayne both love you. My brothers.
DR,
Yep.
yeah, he's a great guy. And
Yeah.
he's actually, the parlay, let me just finish with Tales, and then
Yeah.
there's something with DR
Yeah.
involved. So we
My fingers.
we did the reshoot of the final fight, and did the best we could with that, although I had wardrobe malfunctions. I mean, every time I'm on a set, something breaks. I mean, even this last set.
You broke the damn shark.
Yeah, house shark. I was in I was in the shark where it was like trying to eat me and stuff, and because of my size and stuff, I basically expanded the jaw to. This doesn't sound good. I expanded the jaw.
There's
to
a lot you
something
said
like
so
that,
far
and
that didn't
broke.
sound good.
So I broke the house shark. There's Lance Wagner and Lexi Parker will both love that. The house shark tried to eat me, and I broke its mouth. Take that as you will.
The shark tried to blow him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it got chunks.
Hey, you went there first.
You watch that movie, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
But we finally finished Tales 2, and it came out, and both of those movies, I believe, DVD/Blu-rays are going to be coming out either this month or maybe sometime early next year. Which reminds me, there's another movie I was in called Cryptids, which is a horror anthology, and I got to be just a character called like a Man in Black, which is like from Men in Black, so you're like a government agent and stuff like that. But I was in a scene with Joe Bob Briggs, and that was a lot of fun. And one of the festivals that it just got put into, I got nominated as Best Supporting Actor, so that was really nice.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't win, unfortunately, but just to be nominated and stuff like that was nice.
Tell me about it.
And I had people telling me, "Man, that's a great, what you did there was great." And stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, I can't wait to see it," because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So, so there's that. There's the video game, of course. The Devil's Apostles. I'm going to keep pushing that throughout this interview and stuff like that because the Indiegogo campaign is still going. They want to raise up to about $20,000. Right now, it's currently not anywhere near that. Hopefully, with your help, it can be, or even surpass it. So please go check that out on Indiegogo. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great stuff involved, and if you want to see me suffer, definitely do it because I'm going to be put. That when you're doing video games, especially as a lead character, some people don't realize, when you're voicing the character, you got to voice everything.
Yeah.
That could possibly, because you got these characters, they'll like throw the character into a pit of fire.
Yep.
So I've got to be screaming like I'm on fire. I'm getting sawed apart live by a chainsaw. So I've got to scream out like I'm being like that's happening to me in real life.
Yeah.
Among other things. It's never a sex scene. It's always like, it's like, okay, But then again,
I apologize, guys.
Yeah, I apologize too to all
He's
the
a
people
horny
who just
son of a bitch.
to all
I
the
can't
people who
help
just vomited right now when I said that. I'm sorry. So self-depreciating humor. You gotta love it, right? So that's on the horizon. That's not going to be till late, although regardless, it's going to happen. It's going to come out probably late 2024, early 2025.
Oh.
And then there's music videos I'm doing with Caroline Blue. There's 2 of them currently right now, and there's many more slated to do. But the 2 are a song called "My Fingers," which would be off a
Which
brand
I
new
was
album.
supposed to be in.
Yes, he was supposed to be in, and he missed it, and I had to fill in your place. And once you see what I had to do, you're gonna wish you did.
I hope you got killed.
Don't I always? I always. I've always said this. I've said someday I'll know that I've made it, per se.
Yeah.
When some person makes a death reel of all my kill scenes.
Yes.
Every scene that I've been killed in all the movies I've been in, and then has it on loop.
Wayne's dead. Oh, Wayne's dead again. Oh,
yeah,
there goes
he's died.
WWJ.
I'm sure some of my exes already have that in their private collection.
When is My Fingers being released? Is there a...
Right now we're in post production. Right now the problem is I'm having a little bit of financial difficulty.
cash flow
currently.
problem?
So once I get the funds to do that, I'm getting together with Movie Mike. It's Michael J. Rudolph, and he's the guy who was a cinematographer for the video. We're going to go through and edit it, and then after that, I have to get some CGI work done on it.
Wow.
Not too much, but just a little bit because, unfortunately, I wasn't watching the time properly, and so we had to rush things towards the end on one of the days, and it's all my fault. I'm serious about that. I'm not trying to self-depreciate here. Anything. It actually was my fault that things got fucked up at the end. So I wasn't paying attention as well as I should have. And with the time, I should say. And it's like, you look back and it's like, oh fuck, we could have fixed this on there. So now we got to figure out how to fix it in post.
Yeah.
So we got to do that, and then once that's done, it's ready and it's going to be released. Originally, I wanted to have the whole album done, and then do it that way, like you traditionally would. I might just release it on its own, because it's been long enough. It shouldn't have been this long. But I've been putting out fires. Let's put it that way. And they keep springing up. Someone give me a hose.
That's right.
Hose me down.
Get a hold of Cornelius.
Yeah, hose me down. You need a major hose to hose him down. Oh God, I can only imagine the stench after that.
What did that mean to you to get that role? Probably everything, right? It was your first role, right, Cornelius?
It was not my first role.
Yeah.
But it was the first one that broke out.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly the timeline on different movies because I was working with a production company at the time where we were cranking out movies once a year. But for the most part, they weren't being seen by anybody but local CNY.
Yeah.
For the most part, for various reasons, and it's something where I always believed in. Like I don't. There's a lot of actors that do this. They'll latch on to a producer and then they kind of stay with their troupe, so to speak. And that's fine because a lot of people who do acting and production and stuff, they use a lot of the same people for different movies. I mean, Johnny Z is an example. There's a number of people that came from Night of Something Strange. There's a bunch of new people as well, like Felix Cortez, Jason Delgado, all sorts of people that are on there that for some reason I'm blanking out at the moment. I'm sorry, but also like me, Trey, Michael Merchant, who is the lead role, I believe, and he's the first in the credits. He plays actually Patient Zero. So, you know, and that happens a lot, you know, where they just use in indie films and stuff like that. So, and that was happening with this other production company I was with. We were using a lot of the same people. There's new people, of course.
Yeah.
But it just he was just cranking out movies like one a year. But you know, he'd do the movie, we have the premiere, then go on to the next one, and it's just kind of like, okay.
Well, so you were a busy bee.
Yeah, I mean, I am grateful for being with the stuff that's in the guys' movies, because I don't work with them anymore.
Yeah.
But I am grateful for the opportunities that I was given. And he gave me actually on certain films a lot of freedom. That's where Empire State of the Dead. Originally, that was a horror anthology with it was a contest actually, and there's like 9 or 10 different indie producers who had to come up with a short zombie flick. Okay, it was all added together. That's why it's an anthology. And one of them was, at the time, it was called Blessed Are the Meek, which has been changed to Prey of the Living Dead. And I got to play a character called Draven, who was like a Joker-like character. So I had like skull makeup on, and I could be as crazy and outrageous as I wanted to be. And one thing to remember with that is the guy who co-wrote the script didn't realize that I had taken the script and I rewrote a lot of stuff. So he was expecting the original script, and I very vividly remember I was next to him and he goes, "Where's that in the script? What
is this? For forgiveness, Wayno."
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, in that situation, because everything worked out great with that. I mean, I don't know if the movie's doing well or not, because eventually it got sold to, you know, to another production company, SRC Cinema, and they're putting it out and stuff. But I haven't seen a lot of promo for it per se. That doesn't mean there hasn't been any, but it's just I haven't seen it. But it is one of my favorite roles, and there's some other characters that I did with the production company that I really have fond memories of. And when I eventually do an acting reel, they'll be on there. You know, yeah. It's like, because I'm proud of the work that I've done. It's just I just don't work with the guy anymore.
Yeah. What is it with the sci-fi genre that you're always in sci-fi type stuff for the most part? What is it about that?
They need a guy who is not as charismatic as the lead. Actually, you know, you just said that I'm slated to do kind of like a scene or two in a sci-fi film, which I can't remember the name of it right now. That's going to be coming up by Dirty Sweater Productions. I've done some stuff with them in the past. Great company out in the Albany area, and so far it's like I'm supposed to have green skin.
Wow.
Wayno Smash.
So you're the Hulk. Why does everybody...
If I had my shirt off, he'd be like the Bulk.
Why does everybody paint you up? Do they know that it's going to sweat right off? Or do they not know this?
They find out if they don't. They'll find out, man.
You're always getting painted.
It's so funny when we did My Fingers. That didn't sound right. When we did the music shoot for the music video for the song, the Caroline Blues song, My Fingers, one of the things I did to kind of make it a little special was I had interviews, you know, with everyone, including DR, and then with the cast and some of the crew. And one of the lead actresses was being interviewed and says, and DR asked her, like, what do you remember, like, filming with Wayne in past productions? And she was like, she was like, oh, well, he sweats a lot. And I'm like, wow, what a thing to be remembered for.
Yeah.
But
you sweat a lot, Wayne.
I do.
Slimy Wayno.
You would think I'd be like as thin as that tripod right now, with the amount that I sweat. But
looks like a person standing there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, sci-fi and horror. It seems to be
that's your genre.
And actually a lot of native roles too, but not as much lately because
he is not Indian, guys.
No, I'm not Native American. I don't have that.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. Native American.
No, it's okay. Native American, Indian, whatever the term you want to use. I mean, it doesn't offend me
Yeah.
at all when somebody thinks that I am, because I have the look, and people offer me roles and stuff. But I've turned down in the past some of those roles too because of things. But there's outside of one exception, I don't think it would depend. I mean, I guess it. But no, I think for the most part, I don't think I would be accepting roles as native anymore because I'm not native, and that's especially these days. But even in the past, I got into a long argument with this girl on Instagram. My first and last time engaging with somebody in regards to this, because she was asking me what tribe I was in, and I have no problem saying I don't fool, I'm not fooling anybody or anything like that. I even, especially now, but back then too, I was saying you realize I'm not native,
Yeah.
right? And because it's important and for representation and stuff, and it's like, and she got out of my case like you're taking jobs away from native actors and all this stuff. And traditionally, I mean, I was on a set on a movie called To Have and to Hold. I don't know if it's even been released. It just says completed on their IMDb page. It was my first year of acting. It's actually how I got eligible to join the union, SAG-AFTRA. I made a lot of money just being an extra. That was down in Virginia. I was just there for 5 days, but I made enough for like 2 months rent.
Wow.
So it's because I was temporarily union, so it was like, and it was a $20 million film. Unfortunately, it's just shelved. It's as far as I know. It says completed, but where can you get it?
Yeah.
And it had some star power in it as well at the time. And I remember they couldn't get enough native actors for background, so they actually took some colonists and they shaved them. They painted their bodies,
Yeah.
and because they couldn't get enough. They were trying, but they couldn't get it, and they were on a deadline. And you see like the budgets like 20 million, 100 million, and all that stuff, and it's like, yeah, God, they're like blowing money, they're like wasting money and all that stuff until you realize where all the money's going. Especially if you go into overtime, because then as you go 1 minute over, everyone gets an extra hour, and when you have a crew of over 100 people, that adds up real quick.
Yeah.
And then things go wrong on sets. Things that go wrong in indie sets, they go wrong on pro sets too. It's just usually they're a little more prepared, but not always.
I want to bring up something that had happened to you on Dracula and Wolfman 2. What's it called?
Tales of Dracula 2, Dracula Meets the Wolfman.
Yeah.
I know,
It's
a mouthful.
There was a little girl that visited the set, and she was terrified of you and your makeup, right?
Yep.
That poor little thing. And I think you crouched down and tried to say, this is only paint, and I'm really a nice guy, and all that kind of stuff.
But here's the thing, the Wolfman was there too, and she had no problem with the Wolfman.
She was terrified of you.
No problem with him whatsoever. And yet me, it's like,
I just remember you posted that, and I thought it was the cutest thing because you're down there just looking, it's just paint. Because I had trick-or-treaters here last year, and I'm painted up like Papa from Ghost. And these little 2-year-old girls came up in their cute little princess outfits, and they looked at me, and they just started crying. And I was like, oh my God, I go, it's just paint. It wipes right off. And I was trying to wipe the paint off because I was like, geez, I feel like a piece of shit. I'm scaring little kids.
I have a similar story because I just did a small cameo part in a film called The Bondini Boys by Jeff Forsythe.
Yeah.
And I was just supposed to be a killer. And in the scene that happened, there's a woman. I don't know if she's in the film or not, but her daughter is. And just to put it out there because it's publicity and stuff like that, her name is Nadia Hilton. That's her professional name. Her real name is Crystal. I can't pronounce her last name. So I don't know if she's a private person, so she probably doesn't want that out there. But it was her daughter that was in the scene, and I'm like, sometimes I'd be doing some scenes, we're doing at night, and Jeff would be like, "That's a face only a mother could love." That's what I want. I want the scary look and stuff like that. And I go,
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't want to scare the girl. He goes, no, if you scare her, that would be awesome. As long as I'm rolling, that would be awesome. And then turns out I didn't need to at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, man. It's just you just, and all of a sudden it's like,
The Wolfman were cool. Seeing Dracula, not so cool.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Did you comfort her though and made her feel good?
I think her mom did.
Okay.
I just kind of, you know, at that point, it was so hot, and I'm wearing 3 layers of you know, the costume is 3 layers plus the makeup,
Yeah.
and it's so freaking hot.
Yeah.
I just tried not to move as much as possible until we got to the fight scene, and then a new problem happened because the clasp that was holding the cape in place broke.
Oh.
So, and we, outside of duct taping it, we couldn't get anything to keep it on.
Yeah.
So, which, to the guy who messaged me who wants to buy that costume, if I agree to that, just, there's no clasp. Okay.
That's cool that somebody wants to buy your gear, man.
I guess he bought something else. I mean, for whatever reason, Joe auctioned off like the first cape, which was my favorite. And I didn't have money at the time, and I didn't know about the auction until after it was sold.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I would have bought it.
Yeah.
I try to keep as much of the paraphernalia as I can. But having said that, the appliance from Night of Something Strange, I'm not sure what happened to it. The producer, he thought that I had it, and initially, and I was like, no, I don't. And it's like, that's weird. And I go, yeah, I know, because I usually try to keep everything that I do. I've got, like, the very first thing I don't know if it's the very first thing. It's the very first thing when I started my career with acting, basically. I think at the time I was still doing it part-time. I was more serious about music than I was in Caroline Blue than doing acting. I was just kind of dipping my toe into it and stuff. It was always something that I wanted to do, and I had an opportunity to do it. And and what a way to start. You know, you're part of a gang that's involved in a rape scene.
Oh God.
You know, I still have that outfit. It's in a plastic bag. It's in a tote.
Yeah.
In my storage unit. I still have those, and it's like some kind of, like, I don't know if they're parachute pants or something, but there's some weird kind of material.
Yeah.
And
the 80s, Wayne.
80s, 90s. I
Yeah.
mean, it's weird some of the outfits you got to buy.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Salvation Army is your best friend.
That's right. Hey. I've been there. What else you got coming up? Are you working on anything right now?
I want to get those videos done. The other music video is called "Won't Be Home Tonight," and we started filming that actually in February. But the only reason we did that is because the outdoor scenes required snow.
Okay.
And I didn't want to wait until it snowed here to do it again. So we knocked that out, and that's like total in-house with WWJ Entertainment LLC. We're not like outsourcing or anything like that. It's me and some good friends, including DR. He's involved, and DR is also in the My Fingers video. And all I can say is it'll be interesting. You know, I think you people will like what happened to him.
I'm right on pins and needles. You need to get this going, Wayne.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause the thing is, the other music video that he was in, I can't remember the name of the song or the band.
Yep.
But he was in there, and he was a concerned father.
Yes.
And stuff. That was
great.
cool. That was really cool.
I
and
know
stuff
the
what he was
guy's
doing.
name, and I forgot it myself.
But here's the thing: in the music video for My Fingers, he's not like that at all. And what happens to him at the end? Well, you know, it is a kind of like it's kind of a blink and you miss it, but in a sense, maybe a couple blinks.
What people don't know about DR2 is he's also an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So.
Yeah. And an aspiring director. He
Yeah.
likes to direct. I say that with the best intentions, because all of a sudden he'll be directing me and be like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Cool. I know, and he does it because he cares.
Yeah.
You know, that, and I realize that, and it's really sweet. But you know, it's okay.
Yep.
It's okay. It's cool. And I've talked with him about it before. And it's all like that. But he's a very caring person. So, you know, my hat's off to him, and he does great, and he's doing really well with his new band. Yeah. Is that his thing? Is that his thing now?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like?
Do you guys in the cornfield? Didn't you do that?
Oh no! What we were doing is, see, I have to put this video up
Yes.
because every once in a while this pops up, and I tried to do it, but it was originally I did a commercial for a local CNY local music production called UMTV, Underground Music Television. Eventually, they turned themselves into UVTV. Underground Video Television, and they moved out to Chicago. And unfortunately, the person who was in charge of that, Rich Stolley, died 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was from MS. I'm not 100% sure. I know it was one of those type of diseases, but unfortunately passed away. But I was doing a commercial for Caroline Blue at the time, because he was getting, like, with Monster Mike with Dogs on Mars,
Yes.
and Brace, and all these bands that I can't, that were from back in the day, and it was like almost like a big scene had just kind of popped up.
Yeah.
And I wanted Caroline Blue to be part of it, even though our music wasn't anything like that. We were like a throwback, and to good or bad. I mean, we were getting ragged on it from certain segments of that, but that's part of musician, especially back in the day, the Syracuse music scene. There was a lot of people ragging on people and backstabbing. It was loaded with it. When before you had Facebook and even before MySpace, you had Syracuse music forums on Syracuse.com. You had easy boards and all that stuff. Easy boards you could kind of control a little bit more because Caroline Blue had its own easy board. And we had up to about 150 plus members at the time before they got taken over by somebody else, and now you can't even find it anymore. But Syracuse.com, their music boards, they're loaded with people ragging on people. There was somebody posting them calling themselves Caroline Who.
Oh.
Okay, and ragging on the band, and I kind of found out who that was, and it's somebody I kind of know. So it's kind of like, okay. And there were people that had admitted to me, they didn't admit to me who they were, but they were doing it because they thought it was fun, ragging on people, and they thought they were just being like, oh yeah, I'm busting balls and stuff like that. And it's a lot of that bro humor and shit like that. But it's to me, there's a fine line with bro humor between somebody who's doing it and they're your bro, and they're saying something, and then somebody who is like your enemy, not to be dramatic, but who's somebody who just like a hater or can't stand you, and basically saying the same thing. There's a fine line with that.
Yeah.
Especially if it keeps going on and on and on. And a lot of those musicians from back in the day, like at least around here, there was a lot of it going on. There was a lot of great people. Like DR, DR might as well be from Canada. I'm
He's
sorry.
a wonderful human.
He's very polite. He's very kind and stuff like that. And
One
there's
of my
other
best
musicians
friends,
and you're always polite and stuff.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people that I know. Mike is polite and everything like that. Monster Mike.
He's doing my
Movie
wedding.
Mike too, but
He's officiating it.
Yeah, there's a lot of mics out there, but there's also a lot of people who aren't, and eventually you find out. For the most part, if you care enough, you can find out who these people are. If you do enough probing and stuff and everything like that, and it can be very vicious at times if you let it get to you and everything. And after a while, you can't please everybody.
No.
I remember one time my picture was actually grabbed for. There was a site called Rock Confidential. The forums don't exist anymore. But when they had them up there, they actually grabbed a photo of me. Somebody did. I never found out who it was. They posted it as a new topic, and they just went to town on not only me. It was mostly me, but at the time we had Monster Mike was filling in on drums, temp on drums,
Yep.
and I believe Azrael Mordecai I think was doing bass. I think so. They were getting hit as well. A little
What's
bit.
up, Az?
I think it was Oz. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been Johnny Sniper who was doing that. And but I was getting like raked across the coals, because of the way I looked, the way the pose was, and just stupid shit. I mean, like, oh yeah, I'm holding an Iceman guitar, Ibanez, and it's like, oh, that's not even a real Iceman, I bet he doesn't listen to Slayer, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, I don't. I was like, I'm look at him, man. I bet he's a fucking douchebag, and just, and it's like I don't know who these people are, and everything like that. And there's this whole topic going on in me. So you get used to it. You got to build your armor, So people who do that, more often than not, they're portraying their own insecurities and jealousies.
You got a thick skin, Wayne?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. I'm developing it.
I've got so much. I got so much thick skin below the belt that.
Oh God! God forbid we don't reference the wee wee. Little Wayne stays in the pants.
Yeah, that's that totem pole.
What can't get up can't get out, right, Wayne?
That's. I'll have to use that line the next time I'm in that situation.
Be like Chillin said this: "What can't get up can't get out."
Yeah. There'll be some picture of me somewhere. That quote will be there. It'll be like on a dating site or something like that.
That's gonna be a new sci-fi song, I think, for Caroline Blue. It could be a.
You never know, man. I've got some. The next album is supposed to be like. It's really a throwback because you don't really, outside of a few isolated areas, you don't really have rock bands doing sex songs for the most part anymore, because it's just so. People get so touchy about it and stuff, but
I'm thinking a zombie in a coffin. He can't get up. He can't get out of it.
No, well, that's necrophilia. That's a little different. And actually, I have a chorus that I never completed the song about necrophilia, but not from personal experience, of course. But you know, this next album that I've got. I mean, there's a song about breasts. There's a song about something with women below the waist, specifically. And some other things, and but there's also some of the, you know, with Caroline Blue, it's like the albums. There's usually they kind of stay in one pocket, and then there's something that's a little heavier and something a little lighter, and it's going to be the same way on this album too.
What is the status of Caroline Blue right now?
It's back to me and assorted musicians that as I need them.
Okay.
And in some ways, because of what happened with the last lineup, I kind of prefer it that way at this time. It was an experiment that unfortunately didn't go well.
They did the one show and they're like, we're off to do different things.
Well, that was it was already falling apart.
Yeah.
It was already starting to fall apart months earlier, and I could see it. That's one thing when, you know, I'm not going to rag on the guys or something like that. They're all good people, but you know, everyone has different expectations when they come into a project, and I usually, not even usually, I always spell out, you know, in Caroline Blue, everyone has a say, but I have the final say. And I'm not saying that's part of the reason, maybe it is part of the reason why people left. But it's in the band contract. You know, you can't sit there and say, I didn't know about this. It's right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and yes, I have people signing band contracts because I'm not going to be put in a situation where there's another Caroline Blue playing around locally and I can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be a situation where somebody says, well, you didn't tell me this. It's right there.
Yeah.
Or you can't use this. Yeah, I can. It's right there. You gave me permission. Okay. You know, or someone says, well, I didn't get paid this, and it says in the contract this is specifically what you're getting paid for. Okay, it's right all there. I mean, it's all, and it's funny because people like locally laugh at me about that and they make fun of it until they get into those situations and they're kind of like, eh. And it's all the pro bands do that. If you don't think a pro band is going to give you a contract and say, hey, you know, you got to sign this shit, you're fooling yourself. You know, even if it's like a one tour thing or something like that, you're going to have to sign paperwork. It's the way it is. You know, it's just that whole thing about trusting people. It's great and stuff, but people change. Things change.
Yeah.
You know, money can be a big change. It can be a big factor in your change. Sex can be a big factor. If you know, it is what it is. I mean,
I was just going to say that. It is what it is.
I've never. No, I have done something with a band member.
You horny bastard.
Yeah, well, back in the day, yeah, I was a late bloomer, but once I bloomed,
he was like a bee. He was stinging everybody.
I couldn't get enough. Oh, I don't know about stinging people. I tried not to sting people because that would hurt. And
Spreading your pollen, is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Spreading the seeds of love.
Spreading the seeds of love.
As Tears for Fears would say.
Yeah.
Sowing the seeds of love. That's what it is. But, we'll save that for the book. No names, of course.
That's right. Wayne the Book.
Wayne the Book. Which,
1999.
Yeah, you got to be careful with a book, though. I mean, part of it is because not so much that I want to tell my story, although I think it would be interesting, but part of that would be my parents. And I want them to be remembered. I don't want them to be forgotten. And just, you know, and because they, you know, just one thing I'll mention right here, like, you know, my mother's from Taiwan. Okay, and they met, my father was in the Navy, and they met there, and they got married in the 60s. And I believe this was before you were able to legally do that in the U.S. And, I mean, they had to get married in Taiwan, and then brought over here and everything like that. And I think, you know, a lot of, it's a really great love story, what they went through and stuff. I just recently found, I'm still going through a ton of stuff that, after they've passed, I'm still going through a lot of stuff, and I found a box that has all these old letters that my mother wrote to my father, you know, from Taiwan, and you know, I've already gone through a little bit of them, and you know, of course, it's heartbreaking, but I'm glad I have that.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, that is a drawback to having a lot of drive in what you do and everything. Sometimes there's things that you kind of neglect. Um, Most of my exes can attest to that. But I always tell them I'm a hard guy to be with, because I'm not quitting. I'm I'm paraphrasing this quote from Jim Rohn, but this is my mountain, and I'm going to climb it. And you will either see me in victory at the top or dead hanging from the side of it. One or the other.
Amen to that, brother.
So, and I've done this long enough and I've gotten, it's like if I was to quit, it's like I've gotten so far. Not far enough in either acting or music, but like I got further with acting than music, but it's like I know I can do this, but there's just certain things right now certain challenges that I have to get through. Like living, like having food on the table and stuff like that.
Dracula needs to eat.
And virgins are in very short supply. Especially in 2023, it's like, where are they?
They glow.
You have to go to a nursery, and I'm like, no freaking way am I doing that.
Jesus Christ, Wayne.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But they are starting really young. I mean, and, it's just, even the last time I talked with somebody about that, it was like, kids are having sex like 12, 11, and I think it's even younger now. And it's like, wow. People are just growing up so fast.
Hi, Mr. Squirrel. Don't eat him, Dracula.
Squirrel! No. But,
He ain't afraid
sorry,
of
I
you.
didn't mean to deviate from that and that topic and bring things down and stuff like that. But it's, it's a changing world, and, just to go back, way to relate to it, but kind of bring things back on the path here. I always think I have more time than I have. Maybe I'm jinxing myself here, so hopefully not. Hopefully I'm here for quite a while.
Yes.
Knocking on glass or knocking on Diet Pepsi. Thanks, Diet Pepsi.
Yep.
You can poison me later.
That's right. Get that high fructose.
Yeah. No, there's no high fructose in there.
Oh, okay.
That is something I try not to avoid. Like, that's the regular soda that has high fructose in there. Because that'll go, at least with me, it gums me up. I mean, everyone's a little different. Okay, there's some people that can drink tons of carbs and soda and all this stuff and nothing happens to them. There's other people, they drink it and they blow up. And, we're all different, so we all got to figure out things differently.
Yes.
So.
I haven't had a soda in 8 years. I quit 8 years.
Good for you, man. I've quit soda a couple of times, but then I always seem to fall back to it for
I
one
can't
reason
because
or
it
another.
makes me sick. It's like, oh, that don't sit well.
Normal soda kind of does
Yeah.
that to me now. I
Yeah.
used to guzzle like regular soda when I was a lot younger. I used to drink a ton of. I was the typical gamer. Cheesy Poofs and Mountain Dew, like
Yeah.
big liters of that,
Yeah.
and you'd be guzzling that while, because you didn't have save points back then.
Yeah.
So it's like you had to keep going until you found a save point.
I will get a pork chop when I
Yeah.
can.
And I actually got what they call do-rot. I actually had. I never knew, because I was married at this time. I never knew if it was the do-rot that caused, because I woke up and all of a sudden my tooth was like broken in 2 or 3 pieces. I never knew if it was because of the do-rot and it just disintegrated like there. It was getting weaker and weaker until it finally just fell apart. Or if it was my ex-wife who just, while I was sleeping, just clocked me in the face.
Soda's not good for the choppers, Wayne.
Why not? He's sleeping. Why not?
Soda's not good
So-
for the choppers.
Yeah. So I never knew of which one, and unfortunately, she passed last year. So I'll never know.
Yeah.
So unless
I doubt
told
she
somebody.
punched you in the face.
Oh, you don't know her then.
Obviously, I didn't.
we that relationship,
Was toxic.
it affected me like in a major way. Actually, without that relationship and without here's a tagline. Okay, out of the ashes of my marriage came Caroline Blue. That was something I was talking to her about it at the time. She was one of the few people that kind of was really supporting me, because at the time, at that point, you notice I'm trying really hard not to reveal age. But at that point, it was typical to say, well, if you got to this age, it's over with music. You're done. You can't. And at that time I was still like I wanted to get signed. I wanted to tour arenas. I wanted the whole rock star experience. She was one of the few people that was still supporting me about that. That's one of the good things about it. She never, and she wanted to manage me too. So that was I don't know how well qualified she would be for that, but that was one of the real good things about that. She never lost faith in that until we broke up.
Are you manageable, Wayne?
That's a good question.
I know it's
you'd
a
have
good
to ask other people that have been with me if I'm manageable or not. And I guess in what capacity? Oh yeah, don't let that guy bite you.
Music world capacity.
Yeah,
manage
but
you.
yeah, without what happened in there. I mean, there's songs that are from Caroline Blue that came from that period. A lot of them actually, but not all of them. Some of them are from other relationships.
You see
and
the
stuff.
light tonight?
I've Seen the Light Tonight is not about her, and that's actually a more positive song. That's more of a song where
It's my favorite song.
you're friends with somebody, but then it becomes more.
Yeah.
And that's about somebody else actually. At the time, I mean, it's somebody actually I'm not really that much in contact with anymore, unfortunately. But that happens, and it's weird because after this Sex album, I've got about 4 or 5 albums like in reserve that I've written throughout the years, and most of the songs are completed and stuff. They're not fully demoed, but most of them are in demo form in some way that I recorded at some point. So they're copywritten, per se. But the one slated after this it's going to be darker. After the Sex album, it's going to start going into more of the dark years and stuff. So it's a little heavier and stuff, and a little hateful and stuff like that. Which by that time, all of a sudden, music will be all about happiness and flowers and
Unicorns and rainbows.
yeah. Which I have ideas for a retro album too. I have a song called "Back in 1969." So
Whoa.
it's like,
Not summer of 69.
I've got songs for a Christmas album.
Oh man.
I've got songs for cover songs that I want to do. I've got all this stuff because there's all this time. So I wanted to keep exercising the creativity. So I kept, I would just write, and it's a good exercise. If you want to get better at writing, write. You want to get better at playing, play. You want to get better at acting, act. It's nice to have everything in your head. It's nice to wait till you're inspired and all that stuff, but that's all nice and stuff, but until you put that into action, it's that old quote that says knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. It becomes power when you take action upon that knowledge. Otherwise, how much useless knowledge do you have in your head right now? How much power do you have in that? I mean, it's like you got all these ideas that you want to do, but you're not doing them. So they just sit in your head, and then your mind starts playing games with you and starts telling you, you're not doing this, maybe you should just quit. Maybe take it easy, because that's something about human beings. They love to take, more often than not, your brain is hardwired to take the path of least resistance and to give you comfort. So you want to do something that's hard. How long did it take for you to get to your first show?
A long time.
Yeah, because I'm sure part of that, I mean, I can't speak exactly about this, but I'm sure there are voices in your head saying, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? I mean, I'm going to try to do this. There's already people doing this, or
My
God, I
new
gotta
thing
do
is
this.
I'm embarking on local business owners here in Oneida, and it's taken off. The last one I did got 1,200 views.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
That's
I'm
great.
promoting businesses
Yeah.
when I'm not interviewing musicians. So that keeps me busy, and I don't want this to be a stalemate and sit on the show for 7 months while I'm on winter break. I'm going to continue to do them through the winter and, be relative, stay out there so people don't forget what chilling is. So
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm getting sponsor after sponsor by doing that.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
I got to
that's
learn
a
how
cool
to do
thing. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Chill with me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's right.
In fact, I'm starting to get back into this voice, man, because I'm chilling so much, man.
October, Friday the 13th, I'm getting married out here in Monster is the minister.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has him and Roy. They and it's almost like that whole band, Four Large Men. All of a sudden,
They're
at
ordained.
some point, they decided to
They're
become mail
ordained.
order preachers and stuff like. Isn't that how you become that? It's a college course or a mail order course or something.
I don't
It's
know.
legit. I mean, and it's awesome that they do that. And I'm more. Power
Roy's
to
done
them
a
and stuff
ton
like
of
that.
them. I'm only going to be Monster's third.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's,
We're getting married right in between these two trees. That's why all the flowers are right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're getting prepared.
Yeah. And
You guys can't see
so
it
then
on
you're
camera.
gonna have the little mini house right over here, so you guys can have the honeymoon there.
Sure.
Sure.
I thought I was going to your house.
You don't want to go to my house.
'Cause
If only for the fact that my cats will be like, "What the fuck," and then they will fucking.
Five paw.
And then well, he'll vomit all over the place. Scruffy will poo all over the place. You know, for that. They'll be
Scruffy
like,
and
we don't accept this, so all over the place. I'm just
How are the fellas?
they're doing good. They're chilling.
Yeah, they're chilling.
Well, see, Five Paw's fixed,
Yeah.
so he's chilling and he's always lying around and stuff like that. He just
I got 3, Wayne.
yeah, that's awesome.
I'll let you meet them after this, if you want to.
So I can get cat hair all over me.
Yes.
Great.
I'll
and
get
then
you
my
another
cat,
shirt. I got other shirts.
And
don't
then
worry.
and then my cat cats will they'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing? You traitor!"
They're all girl cats.
Oh, that's even worse because Scruffy's not fixed.
You're like, I'm horny. Mine can
yeah,
get up. It
yeah,
can get
'cause
out.
I had to, for a while, I got Scruffy first, many years earlier, and
Yep.
but I was still, I think I was at the beginning of that. I was still a full-time actor at the time, but I had to go away like to Virginia or out of state. I've been to Virginia, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, a couple other places, New Jersey, for filming and stuff. And sometimes, yes, you can leave the cat alone a little bit, but I don't like doing that. So I would bring Scruffy over to my parents, and I'd come back, and it's like all these behavioral changes would happen. And I'm like, what happened here? All of a sudden, he's trying to bite and paw my hand all the time. He's like, he goes, my mom, God's bless her and everything like that, but she, let's put it this way, she gave him so many treats. It's just one of the reasons why he's over 20 pounds. He would go take a poo in the litter box. She would give him treats as a reward. Just all these things, and I'm just like, Mom, that's not what you're supposed to do.
Well, I'm full of shit, Wayne. I'm hoping to get a bunch of treats.
You're not full of shit. You are not full of shit. You're very cool. There's nothing wrong. No.
Hey.
No.
You're really just just man. Or you can look at your own shirt.
But that was the Rick.
That's right.
This is chilling with
You just got to go like this.
This is now an imposter. There's some other guy out there. He's got a bald cap on,
Yep.
and he's going, and he's sitting there doing all this crazy stuff. And
I sat
everything
here
like
2 days ago, Wayne. I took my hat off. It was National Hair Day, and I just.
that. You just blinded everybody. No.
I used to be
See,
embarrassed.
that's good-natured bro humor, right?
That's
there.
right.
That's okay. That's
I
we
used
know
to be
each other.
embarrassed of it, but I am who I am. I got a nice round head. It looks good. I got a little beard going. Everything looks good.
See, well, that's the thing. It's like, again, that kind of goes with your mind and stuff. Like when I had COVID hair, that freaked me out, man.
Yeah.
Because that's part. Your hair is a big part of yourself, man. So when you start losing it, it can really be traumatizing.
Yep.
But after a while,
you just accept it.
You have to because what are you going to do? You're going to wear wigs, and there's people. You said this before we were going on. It's like, it looks like you're wearing a wig, and it's like I've had people like see some of the shows from last year where my hair was poofy up there. There's a comment on one of the videos. Is he wearing a wig? And
it's
like,
next to the Costin wig. Yours is what, $49.99?
It was $29.99, but because of the
Inflation.
current inflation and everything, yeah, $49.99 sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, that's better.
They'll just charge you the $49.99. You get a penny back.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Wayne?
Well, one of the shows that we have on video, it's on YouTube. I was promoting. I was saying like, we were trying to hawk the Caroline Blue CDs at the time, and I said, normally they're $10, but because it's so damn cold here, because of the winter time, because you people are so wonderful, this show only we're gonna bring it down to $9.99. And it's like, don't say we're not doing things for the people.
We just went and seen Ghost and
I wanted to go to that show. And
August,
I
think
couldn't
it was
it.
August 18th.
I wanted to go to that.
And it was raining inside. It was sideways, and Papa was up on stage, and he's like, and I quote, the exact quote, "It's not just fucking nippy out, it's fucking cold out."
Welcome to Syracuse.
He goes, Syracuse, and then he wobble. I love Ghost, and there's a lot of people out there.
I like a lot of their songs.
And there's a lot of people out there to say that's not a real band. Stop being an asshole.
Everyone's, music's subjective. Everyone's entitled to their opinion and stuff. I also The first band was Amon
Yes.
Amoth. There's
Amon
a song.
Amoth,
Yeah,
yep.
there's a song. Find
That's-
a way or make one.
That's too
I
hard
love
for
that
me.
song.
That's too hard for me. I suffered through that because that's just not my cup of tea. But
Ah,
I respect
that-
the guys who do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
should-
they're musicians.
You know what's funny? It's like if you watch the music video for that. Yes, bands still do music videos.
Lead singer's a super cool
That's
dude.
aimed at somebody.
Lead singer, super cool dude, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff about them and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
they did a music video for that song, "Find a Way or Make One," and it's like they're in an office, and it's so weird because they got that whole Viking thing going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
But it's like they're in this office, and it's almost like a little
you-
bit of a throwback to some of those cheesy '80s.
Did you
things,
see
but
the
it's awesome.
pictures I posted from their set?
No, I
It
didn't.
was like giant freaking statues, but they were obviously blow-ups. But
Mhm.
they looked like real stone statues, and then they had this freaking, it was like bull horns and shit.
Yeah,
Awesome.
the whole Viking thing is awesome, man.
Cool
Any
ass.
band that does a little bit more than just stand there and play.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that. I mean, and especially since I'm getting older, I'm not moving around as much.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a pedal board that I'm still wrestling with, so and I'm trying to get a little more musical, I guess.
Well,
So you can't be shaking your ass while trying to hit a foot
Yeah.
switch at the same time,
yeah.
because it doesn't quite work.
That's why I retired from
So,
twerking.
yeah, I was just gonna say that. and you beat me to it.
We're brothers, Wayne.
I have a video out there. At some point, I'll put it up there. It's one of the early bands I was in, and I'm wearing spandex. And if you blink, you miss it. But I'm up on the stage riser at the Lost Horizon, and I do this butt twirl, and it's like, damn, I'm like, fuck. How did I not throw out a hip doing that?
I would
And
not.
it's just something that just happened. It wasn't like, okay, this part of the song is coming up. I got to do a butt thing, and you know, I had been rehearsing so much doing those kind of moves, or an ode to a person I know, Paul Stanley moves, which I wear the influence on my sleeve, so no biggie on that.
Yep.
I have no problem admitting I'm a big fan of Paul Stanley, of Kiss, and you know, I had been rehearsing moves and practicing so much that it did become a part of what I was doing. I'm not, in no way, shape, or form am I saying I originated anything. In rock music especially, it's very hard to come up with anything original these days, especially when it comes to stage performance in terms of an actual performer.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of maybe playing on while you're like upside down on your head,
Or falling off a bar and Roy
spinning
stepping
around
on
and
you.
stuff. No, I've fallen off bars. Well, let me correct that. I mean, I've come really close to falling off a bar. I remember in the
Dry
band,
humping guys with poppers.
in the
and-
band. There's that. Yeah, that's in reference to a show from Binghamton where we got reviewed in the paper. Four Large Men. It was that band, and we were in a battle of the bands, and the guy was being just a little like, oh, these guys that just got on their freshly pressed jeans and their leather vests, and they're giving us a show and stuff. And then he mentions there's a particularly large man, which is nice for my ego, Wayne Johnson, jumped off the stage because we were wireless, and proceeded to grind his groin into, you know, sweating all over myself, my jalapeno poppers, and my pride. That's what it's on my Facebook page if you want to read it. And I attached it to this picture of me from back in the day. And it's kind of like, and the thing is, it's a guy, you know, that's reviewing this. So that's probably where all the gay rumors started. No, I started earlier than that. I've always been hit with that ever since I wore leather pants or even spandex.
Oh, Jesus.
I've been hit with that, and it's, you know, it's each their own. There's nothing wrong with somebody being, you know, I'm of the belief that, you know, we're all one race, the human race. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your sex. I don't care about whatever. Fine. You know, we're all human beings. Okay, we're all on this planet for a limited time. You know, just do things that make you the best version of yourself. You know, try to be better, a little bit better than you were the day before.
Do you see growth in my show?
Well, you have a bigger banner,
That's right.
and you don't have to No, yeah, you definitely.
Yeah.
You've.
I'm just so relaxed.
First of all,
now.
I want to say thank you,
Yeah.
because you have helped me.
Yeah.
You know, with you know, reaching out to other people and stuff
We
like that.
became good friends, and
Yeah.
we bust each other's chops. And you always
Yeah.
send me that little baby going,
I like sending that. You ask some people that I do message from time to time on Facebook. I'm always sending little Asian babies that are, I think they're so cute, and they're just laughing their asses off, or they're falling off to the side because they're
And
laughing
thank
so
you,
hard.
brother to brother, for always wanting to do my show. You're more than welcome anytime you want to come. You know that.
Thank you for having me, and
Yeah.
thank you very much for asking me,
Yes.
because I still remember a time when I couldn't get an interview. The start of Caroline Blue. Here's something that people don't necessarily know, and it's music related. When I started Caroline Blue, I was still in that phase where it was that whole thing where, like, if you hit a certain age, you're done for. Okay, so I was fighting that in my head,
Oh.
and then everyone else that I knew was either in bands or they didn't necessarily want to. They didn't want to be in a full band with me. They would help out. So a lot of those guys in the beginning. That's why I did an interview with Mike Jakeways way back then. One of the first interviews I did.
He's coming tomorrow. First time on my show.
Nice. Tell him I said hello.
I will.
He, one of the interviews is one of the first interviews I did, and we were talking about Caroline Blue, and I said, it's basically a band of myself and hired guns, and then eventually that became a full band, and now it's back. It's like everything's full circle, and with the exception of 2023, because I went back to the full band thing again, but that fell apart, and that just reinforced the whole hired gun thing more, because as you get older, you have more set in your ways. I mean, I'm still open to things and stuff, but it's like I know I've done this I was there at the start. I know where I want to go, and right now I just need people who support me, and I'm not talking financially, although that would be nice. Feel free to make a donation to help WWJ get a life fund anytime. Feel free to. But I
Or
mean,
to help him get Viagra.
but you need people who support you. Like people around you and stuff like that, because there's so much negativity out there, and unfortunately the biggest place where it comes from is in your head.
I'm my own worst enemy. That's true.
Yeah, the brain, our heads, our minds, it's our greatest ally, our greatest weapon, but it's also our worst enemy. You can't fool yourself.
I'll watch an interview back and be like,
Oh, yeah. I see early movies that I've done, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Even stuff that's like more recent, I'll be like, why did I make that decision? But at the time I made that decision to do it. Not to rag on any directors that I've worked with in the past, but sometimes actors get a bad rap. Because they'll be like, oh, what the hell is this person doing here? It's like, well, someone approved that performance.
Yeah.
It's like if everyone felt like you did, well, then why didn't you do another take?
Yeah.
And sometimes you're told to do a certain thing, and I've been in situations where it's like, oh, well, why don't we try this? And they'll be like, well, let's do a take like the way I want to do it, and then we'll do a take that you want to do it, and they always forget your take. So it's
How
like,
it goes.
so I know that trick, but it's
Doing this, I'm a director a little bit. Like, where do you want me? Just a tiny bit. Where do you want me? Sit right there. Or when I have full metal bands out here. Hey, what do you want us to do? Hey, and I'll direct them. Hey, so, get into this, and I'll ask you this, and it's just.
yeah, because see, eventually
We got to get everybody's story in.
Yeah, because eventually I can see you doing multicam.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in the beginning you didn't even have mics.
Yeah.
I was one of the people. I think there were other people, but I was one of the
I
people
had the
that
notebook.
you got to get mics.
That dreadful
Yeah,
fucking.
and that's fine. There's actually nothing wrong with the notebook.
Yeah.
It's fine to have notes and everything, because if there's certain things you want to ask and certain points that you want to address, yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this isn't like back in the day where it's like, everything has to look like it's just coming magically from your head.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's not. If you do enough interviews, it kind of feels that way because you know how to react.
This
to
is
stuff.
so relaxed now. It's
Yeah,
not even fun.
when I did my first interviews and first time I had to do stuff, I was scared out of my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I'm like nervous. I'd say things. But going back to the point I was making at the beginning of Caroline Blue, it's there. If you go to carolinblue.net, shameless plug, okay, and you go to the archive area and you go to cb.net interviews. What cb.net interviews were, and it's all just written interviews, okay, and sometimes reviews of shows. I had a crew that was working on the website. It was Satchel, Bucky, Rico, and I think there was Jose, but he kept falling asleep all the time, and eventually I got rid of him.
He's like, I'm bored of this shit.
Okay, and the thing was, they were all me. Okay, they were just characters I created,
Yeah.
and like before the very first show, it was like, here's an interview before the show,
Yeah.
and so I would do, and what kind of freaked a few people out
Yeah.
At least it's not sirens like the last time.
That's right. I don't know even where that's coming from, Wayne.
There's somebody going, oh, I have enough of this guy. God
It's
damn it.
usually right here, and it's happened a couple times.
So that's good because this is something I wanted to put in the book too. But what I would do is I would do these interviews so it made me look a little more than what I was at the time, which was nothing. Okay, and some people go, you're still nothing. But it's in the scheme of things, yeah, maybe that's true because there's people out there that are like, well, if you're not on the level of Kiss or Bon Jovi or U2 or something like that, then you're nothing.
Yeah.
Those are people you just can never satisfy because they'll always be like, well, I've done this and this and this. Well, you haven't done this. Let's say you do it. Well, you haven't done this. And then you get all the way to the top. Well, yeah, but you're not doing this. And there's always, you're not doing, you can never satisfy those people.
Yeah.
So why waste the energy to try? But anyway, those interviews, and I've got one like from the beginning of the show, and there's a video out there where I'm actually rehearsing outside of Club 48.
Yep.
I don't know, it's in Fulton, or between Fulton and Phoenix. And I'm trying to do like a promo, but I'm doing it by myself, so I'm filming it with like, and I'm going like, this is Wayne W. Johnson from, I wasn't even saying W at that point. I was just saying Wayne Johnson.
Yeah.
If you watched, when I put that UMTV clip up, which we totally deviated off of that,
Yep.
I was still going by Wayne Johnson. It wasn't until it started in I think Caroline Blue. Because in Four Large Men, I was signing stuff Wayne Johnson, but going now I lost it.
You're gonna tell us what the W stands for?
No, not that. No, it was it was something we were coming back to on point. The UMTV thing, okay, where this, where that whole thing, it's supposed to be like this.
Okay, like this. All right.
It's called the Spotlight.
I rocked it.
Monster Mike actually came up with the name for that, and I was doing a promo, and it was just various live clips at the time that we had, and then the logo and just showing off the band at the time. Okay, and there was a spoken part in there, so I just out of the blue, I'm like this thin, and I still managed to rip my leather pants in the back.
Your bony ass.
No, it sucked because they were really good leather pants. They were expensive. They were like from Europe or something like that. And I really invested some money in those things. They were really good, very form-fitting and stuff. I loved them, and I fucking ripped them.
And you need more room in the whole area there, Wayne.
Well, back then I didn't. When you get older, certain areas enlarge that you don't want enlarging. So.
Some you encourage you enlarge, and then it fails you.
But we were doing that, and I just said, I just came up there and I said, this is Wayne Johnson from Caroline Blue, and you're watching Underground Music Television. And then I just did, and then I walked away. I just, out of the blue, that's a Paul Stanley move, okay?
Yeah.
It's something I've seen him do before. But he usually went like this.
Yep.
So I did it like this, because on the album cover of Not for the Innocent, you see me doing this. And a lot of people say that's a modified shocker. Okay, actually, unless somebody else came up with it before, I think I came up with this because I've never said this before in an interview before. Where I got the inspiration to do this, believe it or not, it was from a comic book. It was called The Micronauts. And they had a character called Bug, and he only had 3 fingers. So that was me trying to imitate that. But this is, if there was a way to trademark it, I would, because I love that symbol.
Yeah.
Because it's so close to just going like, But sorry, I didn't mean to flip off your whole crowd there. But
he loves each and
so I
every one
did
of
that. And Mike's called it the Spotlight, and for whatever reason, it before things were viral, it went a little viral, at least in CNY. I mean, I remember people coming up to me at shows and doing that, and it got to the point where on the old site, I don't know if it's up yet or not, there's a photo album called Spotlight Pics, and there's various people. There's Mike doing it. There's all these people that are just next to me doing the move. There's DR, I think it was one, Dave King.
I asked
all
him,
these people from bands and stuff doing this stuff. One guy even told me, I entered a bar and somebody said, "Don't let that guy in. He's too famous."
Oh.
I'm just like, okay.
You would think you want the famous
That was the
guy
Wolf
in there.
Inn back in the day. But anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't mean
I used to ask DR, I go, why the cornfield? Why not?
There was a woman. There's a woman who actually said the exact same thing, and he responded the exact same way. she was somebody
Simple
who,
answer.
yeah, she, at the time, I don't know if this is still true now, at the time she was not a fan of mine, so that's probably why she, why are you guys doing this? But she loved DR. But she wasn't a fan of me, and I'm not sure why, but oh well. And if you search long enough, you can find out who it is. But it's, but no, it's, I don't care. It's, don't even
Thick
say
skin,
it's,
thick skin.
no, it's fine. If you know, people, I, way back in the beginning, man, I used to get hurt, you know, when people, if somebody, and it still happens a little bit. I just found out like somebody I know unfriended me on Facebook. It's like kind of like, I mean, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
I've
and,
lost
I mean,
friends
like I
going-
actually physically know the person. I've got photos with the person. I've got that, but then they do that for whatever reason. And it's like, but then it's you gotta pivot. What David Goggins would say: pivot and roll, pivot and move, or whatever. Pivot and something. I just started getting exposed to his stuff, and it's funny because there's stuff that I was, because I'm going through hard times, that I already like was starting to come to realize. But that guy, holy fuck, that guy he's awesome, number one. Number two, you want to talk about somebody who's going through the struggle. He puts himself, he's got like the world record for pull-ups. It's like over 4,000.
Is his arms like this?
No, he's actually he's like 180 something pounds.
Wow.
The guy's like he's a Navy SEAL, he's Army Ranger, he's done 3 Hell Weeks, he's done like, he does all these ultra marathons and shit.
Damn.
And he's a big believer that you got to find the truth, you got to suffer.
Yeah.
And he puts his body through a lot of shit. And I'm finding that there's some things that I was already starting to discover in my own life because of the hardships I'm going through before I started. I'm not saying that I know what he's, you know, all that stuff and everything. I'm just saying there's a 1 or 2, maybe even 3 similarities. But I would highly recommend checking out his stuff, you know, if you want to know more about his stuff. And it might be too hardcore, because it does turn a lot of people off. They're like, holy shit, I ain't giving up this. Like I said earlier, the human mind, it's geared for comfort. It's geared for path of least resistance. And he says that too.
Right.
But I already knew that from a couple years ago. I got a friend who I've said that a couple of times. There's like 2 or 3 basic things about human beings, you know, for the most part, for more or less, they go by the path of least resistance. They think that bad things that happen to other people aren't going to happen to them. And they do not like to be told that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes even when they know they're wrong, they refuse to admit and change that they're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's like if you're wrong about something, well, that's an opportunity to change course and move forward. If you just keep being stubborn about it, it's like, well, you know, more power to you. That's your life, man. But, sorry, I'm dragging on here.
We're gonna say goodbye, Wayne. I
Okay.
think it's been long enough.
Yeah, we don't want to go over too long and
Yeah.
stuff.
People get bored, and yeah, it is what it is.
Start trying
I
to
want them to get to know you, and I want them to be fans of you and like your page and like all your stuff. So that
Yeah.
would be cool, man.
Speaking
You
of
don't wanna-
which, you can find me. This is, I guess, the
Yep,
time. And this
yep.
time, this is here, so hopefully
Yep.
you're going to pick it up.
You're gonna pick it up.
You got my main website, WayneWJohnson.com, which unfortunately at the moment is backed up. It's not updated. That's one thing this week I'm going to try to do. CarolineBlue.net and .com, but .com at the moment just goes to .net. And there's a whole lot, because that's an older site. I wanted CarolineBlue.com to be like a modern site. And then if you want to find, that basically says what the band is doing right now. If you want to know about the history, go to CarolineBlue.net.
Yep.
I'm on Facebook. You got my personal site. You got WWJ Official, which is my acting page. Caroline Blue's on there. I even have a musician page. So there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, which is now I guess called X.
X.
Now. Yeah, whatever. You know, whatever. It's his thing. He can do whatever he wants to.
Yep.
LinkedIn. I actually starting to gain a little traction on LinkedIn. We're both Caroline Blue and myself. And there's some other things I do too. YouTube. Although right now YouTube, it's kind of like, it's like Facebook is going up. Like I was talking about the friend requests and stuff. YouTube is now going the other way. It was for a while, I was posting some stuff and it'd get like 400 or 500 views and stuff like that. All of a sudden now it's like 12.
Yeah, that's what
20,
I get.
30. You know, but things go in cycles.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not on TikTok, first of all, so neither is Caroline Blue. So, and maybe at some point, because I don't know, for some reason I can't even remember at the moment right now. I've just been resistant to it. I don't know why. Um, Maybe it's just because it's another one, you know. Because at one point, Caroline Blue, like this actually caused a problem in a relationship I had. I had like 20 or 25 different pages and stuff for Caroline Blue, and I was trying to keep them all updated,
Yeah.
like they were all equal,
Yeah.
which spent a ton of time.
Yeah.
It pissed off the girlfriend I had at the time.
She wants you.
And she was right about that. So
Yeah.
what I did was I said, these are my main 5. The rest, there are presents there, and then they'll say, if you want more information, go here.
There you go.
So you can find me with all that stuff. Remember, Johnny Z is out now on streaming. Tales of Dracula 2, Dracula Meets the Wolfman, that's also out on streaming. There's that Indiegogo campaign with The Devil's Apostles, which is a horror slasher video game with some grindhouse in it for people who love that.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty gruesome. I've been told it's going to be very gruesome, very gory and stuff like that. And it's based in the UK, although the writer, his name is Brett Simmons. He is based, I believe, in Ohio or Illinois. I have to talk with him later tonight, actually. He's writing all the dialogue and the storyline and stuff like that. And the head of the production team for the video game, his name is Joe Wheeler. And he's based in the UK. His whole development team is out there.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that Indiegogo campaign. I'm going to be doing some more promo and some heavy promos coming up to try to get the funds going with that. Be on the lookout for the Caroline Blue videos, My Fingers, and Won't Be Home Tonight, and possibly others. Some of them including like Love Me or Leave Me, Out of My Life, I Want You, Far Away from Home, and hopefully, I keep saying this at every interview. So one of these interviews, I'm going to be able to say it's done. There will be a new album out by Caroline Blue.
Yeah.
And more videos.
Make it my show.
And I'm probably going to be canceled because of all the sexual content that's going to be on there. But it's going to be a good-natured, cheeky. I mean, and the videos for the most part, they're all like they're taking the hell out of me. And especially this one. If this one video that I have in mind, I actually have to hire a guy like a major effects guy to pull it off. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I got all these things in my head, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
Say them now, man.
say them all right now, so
Yeah.
you can see me on all that stuff on social media.
Yep.
Keep an eye out on stuff, because you never know what's going to pop up, because I usually don't reveal things until they're in motion. And I am one of those people that I usually don't say, like, you know how people go, this is where I am right now.
Mm.
I usually do that, but I'm already gone.
Yeah.
I'm a little paranoid. You know, I've run into some freaks. That's how you avoid potential problems. And it's weird because you think like, oh yeah, whatever, Wayne, you're full of it and shit like that. And then you get in those situations, you get up to that level, and it's like, fuck. You know, it's like, damn, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize, for example, it's like people who don't. I used to pride myself. It's like I always responded to everybody within 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, any message anywhere from. You get bogged down, and it's like you can't do it, or you know, there's people who, if you let them, like they'll add you on Facebook, and then they'll just start a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I'm polite.
Yeah.
Usually I start with GIFs, but it's actually you could use either one. So there's a person I know that
I get
if
them
he's
a lot.
watching this stuff, I actually looked this up. You could say GIF or GIF. It's actually legally.
I go
it's
by
either
GIF.
one. Yeah, because I had this one guy. He was like, I was talking to him and his fiance, and I said GIF, and he went into the kitchen, grabbed a Jif peanut butter and said, "This is a Jif."
That's GIF. I'm pretty sure.
It's like, yeah, okay, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
That happens, Wayne.
Oh God, I love getting old.
All right, man. We're gonna end it right there.
Yeah.
We
we'll
cool
do
with
it.
that?
Yeah. But give me a moment here. Let me see if I can just remember that thing that I was going to. But,
GIF and Jeff.
well, there's that. Oh, the people. What happens is somebody will start a conversation with you, and I always try to be polite and stuff, but they'll keep going and going and going, and it's like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's great that you have the time to be on social media all day long. I don't.
Yes.
There's somebody who did that to me, and all of a sudden, at one point, just started going like, "Oh, can I be in your band?" and all this stuff, and
The admiration.
and it was just like, I had this one woman who was like supposedly from Russia, and she was liking, I mean, you could literally see like 50 likes
Yes.
on my Instagram thing and like that, like in a row. And then she found my pages on Facebook and started doing that there. Then she found my personal page, and as soon as she found that, and I just block. Not that, I mean, it's, I appreciate when people appreciate what I do and stuff like that, but people who
I'm gonna go do it on
they
purpose
cross
now.
the line. And again, until you get into that situation, I never thought I was a person who was going to be like, okay, I can't respond here.
Yeah.
I always try to respond to everybody, but sometimes people don't let you.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do things, and it's kind of like, now what are you going to do? You either have to please them, which means you just keep going, and now all your time is going away, or you kind of have to say, okay, stop. And you have to kind of be an asshole about it sometimes. And the most polite way is just no reply. And I know there's a lot of people, and I don't mean to be rude like that and stuff like that. I try to treat people like I would be treated, but
Yep.
I wouldn't be doing that to somebody. I wouldn't be sitting there going, come on.
You're a busy
it's like,
guy. You're working.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I'm
got
sure
shit
you're
to do.
starting. If you haven't already got it already, you're going to be getting it soon. I'm
I
sure you
haven't
already
got it.
You already got that stuff
Yeah.
happening, and
Yeah.
you don't know until you start going into the field.
I've got a lot of messages. Hey, I want to do your show. Hey, this is my band. Hey, listen to this. I get that a lot.
Yeah,
But I
And-
don't have the trained ear.
Well, no, that's fine, because I mean, it's your show.
Yeah.
You can do what you want to do. That's
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. It's like, even it's not like you're on some like national. Not yet. At some point, it's going to be on a national level, but
I love you, Wayne.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Just don't try anything. You know.
Well, you gotta be a dick. Listen here, Dracula.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Dracula starts with the letter
If it-
D.
Nothing can happen if it's not out.
Can't get up, can't get out.
Can't get out.
You gotta remember that.
You
I'm
know,
gonna make
but,
you a T-shirt.
You know, you just don't realize it, and you can't explain it to people, because until they actually experience it themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and when you do, it's like, you know, and then it's not like you go around and say, "I told you so," but then they understand.
Yeah.
But until then, and some people, they're never going to understand. So.
All right, man. We're wrapping
All right.
it.
Thank you, sir. We're wrapping it now.
We're wrapping it. We're a Christmas gift now.
Yeah.
We're wrapped and bow tied. We're all good to go.
We're all good to go.
Seriously though, brother, thank you for your friendship, and thank you for always doing my show, and thank you for wanting to
Likewise.
do my show, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, and you'll be back on next year, I'm sure.
Next year, or
Or the
I will
year.
definitely be back at
He
some
will
point.
be back. We'll leave it at that.
At some point. Yeah.
Check out Wayne W. Johnson.
I'm just gonna keep making faces until you
Do
turn
it.
this off.